Some fun. We're in Orlando.
We haven't been here for a couple of years.
Yeah. The last time we got to skip out.
They missed us.
Yeah. It's funny coming in, guys. He says, Max, when's the last time we were here? Some 2-3 years ago. Oh, we missed last year, I think it was. Whatever.
We don't want to spoil you and come every year.
And so he tells me, hey, Max, you know how I like to change things up? And I go, yes, and I know how you like changing things up. You know what I want to do? And I go, what? He says, I want to go to Universal. I said, please, let's not go. I'm pretty close. Sometimes he says,
you were close enough.
He says that.
I don't need him that
He
close.
says to me, Max, I can't hear that. But I tell him, it's called selective hearing. I don't say, I say something to him, huh? But his wife whispers very softly, yes, dear.
I better hear her. Him, it doesn't matter.
So, we get in the car right out of the airport. On the way to Universal, I'm calling the guy we know, and he goes, what? Stan's coming? But how long? I go, you got about 15 minutes before we get to your door. It was the funniest thing, man. Everybody started running around. And then, look, all we gotta do is just walk in, guys. No, it's Stan Lee. And I go, yeah, but he's a normal guy. You work for him? And I go, yeah, he's a guy.
That guy is a good judge of character.
And it's so funny, because once we walk in, we go through a backside area, and then we get into the public. And we barely hit this boulevard, I would call it. This kid yelled out, oh my God, it's Stan! I said, shut up! He just like, doing that, freaking out, I'm like, oh my God, that's all I need. We walk in there, and everybody's like, it's like one of those frozen in time. They're like, oh my God, Stan Lee.
Well, welcome to the Max Sanderson show.
So, listen, if you guys want to see it, my friends are telling me, he's not there. We got the Marvel characters together, and we put it on Facebook. And I put it on, I don't use Facebook, but I put it on Facebook. It's under Max Anderson. You'll see it. And he's there hanging out. Everybody's having a good time. Then, you know what, Max? I want to go on a ride. The last time he was here, he went on the Hulk ride. You talk about my heart doing this. My buddy tells me, Max, if something happens to him, do you know what's going to happen to you?
Imagine what would happen to me.
And so, like,
anyway, it was nice being here, and I hope you can do this again.
We're going to do a little funny game, because the last time we went at the convention, he wanted, because we always take turns, you guys take turns asking him questions. And he always gives you an answer. The last one, he wanted to ask you guys questions, see who gets the right answer.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a good idea? At a panel, instead of the people on stage answering questions, we'll ask you questions. And anybody who doesn't know the answer gets kicked out of here. Right? We don't get around. We're from Marvel. But I can't think of any question. I'll tell you the question that is most often asked me. I know you lay in bed at nights wondering, what question is most often asked Stan? I'm going to tell you. Go to a convention, go to a panel. All right, time for questions. One guy walks up to the microphone. I know what he's going to say. Here it comes. Who's your favorite superhero? And if I say anything but Spider-Man, they all get up and walk out.
Stan, speaking of Spider-Man, we got some very special security for you at this last Florida appearance. We've got it right here on stage.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh, will you look at that, my own Spidey something. Have you guys seen me wear necklaces?
Look it up online. I found it. He told told me the same question. I looked it up. It was the disco era, disco shirt, BT haircut, and a big ass emblem right here.
I'm putting it in my pocket. All right, now, Spidey, get it. I'd like you to stay off the wall. Like a normal person today, all right? No walls, no web shooting, just okay. Do you know the web shooting position? Are you able to do that? You good at that? Okay. Every time I do photographs, somebody says, do a Spidey with me, and I gotta go like that. Someday a web will shoot out, won't they be? What do we do?
I don't know, you want to ask a question?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just asked, who's your favorite superhero? Now, I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but Spider-Man, like most of the Marvel characters, has a nickname. They don't always call him Spider-Man, they call him Spidey. Now, have you ever heard of Soupy or Batty? This is why Marvel rules. From you.
Let's hear it for Spider-Man, everybody. I told everybody at the beginning, Stan won't be able to hear you when you ask your questions over the microphones. We got microphones right here and right here. So start lining up with your questions, everybody.
The first rule is whatever I say, you laugh and applaud. See how a Marvel fan catches on? That's why you're so great. I have an idea, and I want to know how you feel about it. You know, I do these cameos in the movies. It occurred to me I'm missing a big thing, a big bet. Why don't they have a Stan Lee cameo in every comic book? Every story. You buy a Spider-Man story, he's fighting the Green Goblin, and suddenly there's Stan Lee walking in the street. I think that would be nice. I want you all to go to your desk when you finish here, write a letter to the editor and say, don't get Stan angry, you better do this. Look how our sales would zoom. Nobody would want to miss an issue. They might have missed the cameo.
All right, let's start some questions.
Thank you. Mr. Lee, we all appreciate the enormous cultural innovations that Marvel has brought across the years. What I was wondering, however, was about one of the lesser, at least less, I think, known innovations today, particularly in the context of something like the X-Men, which is very, very famous, of course, and deservedly so. And that's the new universe, especially Strike Force Moratori. I've heard that the new universe is perhaps being reformed with Strike Force Moratori, and it was an astonishing, it seems to me, attempt to bring a new perspective on graphic adventures, and on way ahead of its time in terms of fighting apocalypse. So I was wondering if you could speak to that. Thank you.
If you're going to keep the questions that short, we'll be finished. Even though I know I look like a paragon of physical perfection, I don't hear as well as I used to, and I'm not really able to make out what you say in these So I heard your voice, but I couldn't tell the word. He said, what did she say? The new universe.
There was in the 90s they came out with it.
Well, it came out in the 90s. It's not new anymore. They came out. A new superhero team. I'll translate for them for you.
People have to get the superpowers, and they only have 1 year to live.
People with only 1 year to live with superpowers and then 40. Where was I when this was going on? I don't remember this.
You were making the animation series.
Oh, we were doing an animation series. So anyway, what's the question?
Do you know if they're bringing back that universe?
Oh, are they? It took that many words. I'll show you. I'll show you how to be economical with the language. Here is my reply. No. I don't even know it did happen. This is the first I heard of it. That's why I heard you all whispering. Why do I keep him around? He's got a memory and I don't, so he remembers things. When they ask me a question, you'll see him going like this to him. And then I answer it magnificently. I can't remember anything. Who are you, by the way? Do we go home yet?
Hi, Stanley. My name is Julian. Hi. My question for you is, over your lifetime, what has kept you determined to just get things done? Specifically, if you have like a due date and you just don't want to do it, and you just don't, you're like depressed, or you just don't have the feeling to do it, what keeps you going?
Everybody asks these long questions. The only word I could make out was specifically. I heard he used the word specifically. I understood that. What was the question? What keeps me going where? Read. I don't know, this is fun. There is nothing more fun than being with fans. Especially if they're your fans. I mean, if you were DC fans, it wouldn't be as much fun. And I wake up in the morning and I say, is there a fan somewhere that I've missed? I go hunting for him or her.
Honestly, that's funny because he says that there might be 100 people in the room and one guy will say, hey, who's a true believer? And everybody will raise their hand and say, that guy didn't pick his hand up.
Wait, that brings another thing to mind that's very important. He used the expression true believer. Now I will admit, I have used that once or twice. Nobody has ever asked me, what is it we believe? I mean, we're true believers, but what is it we believe? We never discuss. I want to have a panel someday to discuss what true believers believe. Is that all right? Can we do that?
So we're coming back.
Time to prepare, you know.
So we're coming back.
We always come back. Way down over there.
Yeah, yes.
Wow. Can you hear me over there? Great, okay. Terrific. And there are people there. There are a lot of people.
Yeah.
We've got to do something to make it worth their while. Why don't you leave and let me get a beautiful girl up here? All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Lee. As a recent graduate of law school, I'm curious if you could have one of your superheroes give my class's commencement speech, who would it be and what would they say?
You're graduating from law school, you said?
I just graduated and we did not have a speaker.
She didn't have
Tony Stark. And handsome and glamorous, even if you didn't understand what he was saying, you'd still fall in love with him. See, I wouldn't be available, so you got Tony.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Laura. What would you suggest that fans do who have been inspired by you to honor and preserve your legacy?
I heard what would I suggest, and then the rest of it. You know, believe it or not, that's something I never think about. While I'm here, I'm enjoying it. When I'm not here, it's going to not matter to me. I'll be honest with you, when I'm not here, I'm not going to be saying, gee, I hope they're observing my legacy. That's up to you. Do what you want. I set you free.
But looking back at your legacy, I mean, I ask them questions all the time. What's a key moment in your legacy that from everything, from the day you realize, hey, I got a hit, to right now? I mean, would you be able to think of one moment?
I got a million key moments. I sit here all night.
No, just seriously, what would you think? What would be that moment?
When my wife said, it's about time you succeeded at something.
Okay, it's funny sometimes because he looks at it and I sit with him and we talk. And he just...
No, he doesn't talk. No, I can't get a word
No,
in.
because honestly, guys, I've been with him for almost 13 years in July. And sometimes, I mean, I hear the Spider-Man stories this way, that way, and then there's things that he puts in there that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know a few years ago that Jack Kirby actually made the original cover for Amazing Fantasy. The original cover of Amazing Fantasy 15. And Stan said, no, it's good, but that's not what I'm looking for. And I'm just like, that's Jack Kirby. So that's how Steve Ditko came involved, because he made him into the young teenager kid that he wanted.
That is not to be taken as a criticism
No.
of Jack Kirby, who was the best. I wanted Peter Parker to be just an ordinary kid. And Jack, who loves to draw superheroes, when he drew him, he made him look like a heroic kid. I mean, made him strong and determined looking. And I wanted a guy who was just a schlep like I used to be. So Steve Ditko was good at drawing schleps. We never knew this was going to be so important. So I said, forget it, Jack, we'll let Steve do it, and that was it. Was that what you were talking about? Did I explain it beautifully? I had that ability. I explain things so beautifully. I fascinate myself while I'm talking. All right, go ahead.
Let's go to the next question.
You know who to point to. I was just saying, it was give you a sense of power. There were all those hands, and you decide who you're going to point to. Wow, that's something. All right, anyway, who did you point to? Right there.
Hi, Mr. Lee. My name is Bryce. I have a couple of short questions.
A couple of short. No, he said they were short. He said they were short. Maybe a couple of short questions is better than one long one. Let's judge.
What the hell was up with the Princess Diaries 2 cameo, and what's it like meeting Julie Andrews?
I couldn't make that up.
That was random. Yeah, I can't remember he was. Yeah, he was in Princess Diaries too. She was like,
Remember that. Years ago, they had a movie with Julie Andrews. They wanted to be sure it would be a hit. So they said, Stan, will you do a cameo? the question? Money. Glory. And besides, where does a guy like me come off saying, oh yeah, Julie Andrews, my co-star?
Let's go to the next question.
Wait a minute, he had two questions. See, I remember things. He had two short questions. The first one was a total bomb. Let's see what he does with the second. How do you know? You mean he got mad at me? I antagonized the fan. Bring him back. I don't want to lose the fan. What was the second question?
That was like a two-parter question.
Well, she was very romantic. I told her I was married. She's a very nice lady. There's not much I can say. She was polite. She treated me like I belonged on the set. And she was a lovely lady, that's all. I did not make a play for her because I don't do that. There's nothing else I can tell you. Those really were two lousy questions.
Thank you so much.
Next time you work it out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee.
Let's go right over here.
I'm only kidding. They were good questions. I'm not the answer.
All right, I promise to make it quick. How is it like working with Kevin Smith? I'm a big fan of him.
Oh, Kevin Smith.
So
I heard him or her say, how is it working with Kevin Smith? Because he or she said it very clearly and succinctly, and I like Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, he likes Kevin Smith because he's going to give him a bigger role in Mallrats 2.
Tell you everything about Mallrats 1. I don't know if you've seen it. There's one scene where I'm giving advice to the young hero who's unhappy because of something that went wrong with his love life, I don't know. And I'm saying, I too once had a girl that I lost, and I've never forgotten her. And I go into this whole speech. And it was quite dramatic, and it made it to the screen, and I'm surprised I didn't win an Oscar. But when I got home, my wife said, what's this about that girl? And I got into a lot of trouble because of that. So I'm very careful now with the starring roles that are offered to me. I make sure there's nothing that will offend my wife or make her think, yeah, maybe I better keep my eye on this guy, I don't know. And that didn't come across as funny as I thought it would. I'll strike that story and we'll go on to the next one. Go ahead. You have to level. That's why they love me, because I level with them.